welcome to this edition of Money Monday. I hope you all are doing well today. It's good to see you all. Hope you all had a great weekend. It means it's going to be a very busy week. We had a great weekend this past Friday, Saturday, Sunday with our most recent 3-day virtual note buying workshop. Had some great folks on there going through getting the basics of note investing, a few repeat faces. But overall, it was a really great class, a lot of great questions. I think we saw a lot of virtual light bulbs go off as people took what we taught and really applied it. And I think we're really going to be rock and roll. Probably see a few new faces from there in the coaching program, which is always great. But most excitedly, folks closing on deals or getting ready to rock and roll and kind of tweak their in real estate investing path and maybe finding a true direction, a true north and path to follow. But anyway, I want to go through a couple of things today. We had a little take come in last week I want to go through with you guys. I see Phil on here. Phil, I appreciate you jumping on here this morning. I know we got a call scheduled later today, but we can answer your questions on the email you sent me Friday if you'd like to now and make it an educational thing for everybody else out there. I know Phil was working on a tape of some reverse mortgages he got in and was curious about how to bid on them because he got some pricing back from one of the sellers. So Phil, if you want to jump on here, we can definitely do that. And I can add you in here where you can ask your questions. We can go through that tape and rock it out for you if you're available to do that. But anyway, just type in the chat roll, Phil, and I'll bring you on. But one of the things here, guys, we had one of our students reach out to us. She's got a portfolio of about 8 or 9 small balance loans. I think the highest UPB on these is 28. Some smaller balances on those are like less than a couple grand too. But I wanted to go through a couple things with you, things to look at when you're looking at buying a note. And I know a lot of us, we like, well, hey, I got to prove concept. And look, I get it. There's nothing wrong with wanting to use your own money to get the ball rock and rolling. I think that's a great aspect of it. Part of why I think these notes might be ideal for folks is you're not going to hit it out of the park with these notes. I mean, some of these are under 15 years. The returns on these are probably going to be around 8 or 9% with using your own money. But they're a great way to kind of get the ball rolling, especially if you've got a small balance IRA account. If you've got $4 grand or $5 grand or under 25 grand sitting in your self-directed IRA, not making anything, it's losing money every year, losing 3-4% plus the fee that the self-directed IRA custodian is charging each month. You need to put that money to work in some sort of fashion. And let's get it. We're not going to get rich on an 8% return. Okay. I know Phil on here personally is looking for a double-digit return. And that's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I think you can definitely get that. And we know you can definitely get that, depending on when you're buying and what you're buying and how long you're holding on to it, stuff like that. But the thing you want to keep in mind here is so many people sit on the sidelines from a fear factor, and we want you to get over that fear factor. I got to give a big shout out to the ladies up in Philadelphia, Crystal and Selena, and I'm going to forget her name. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten her name. I apologize. But anyway, these 3 ladies, they were very nervous. Carmela, that's it. Carmela Vassar Johnson. My apology there, Carmela. But the 3 ladies in Philadelphia, they bought a note down in Mississippi. And it was a small balance note. $1,500, I think is what they paid for it. But they really liked it because they could all pay $500 together. And they bought this note that had like a balance of $8,000. And it was a pretty secure deal that the equity, the value of the properties was far exceeding what was owed. So they felt pretty secure in being able to buy that note, get their money back, at a minimum, get their money back and cost back, and learn the process of setting up servicing company, getting payments in. If the borrower didn't pay, there was plenty of room for them to foreclose and get the property back or get back at least what they put into it, their payoff plus legal fees. And it's a relatively fast foreclosure process in Mississippi. Now, they maybe didn't want to own the property, but they felt like, hey, we're into this for $1,500. If we've got to put another $1,500 or $2,000 into it, learn the process, we're going to come out a whole lot smarter off and get the rock and roll. And the ladies did, and they're one-on-one coaching students. And they bought that note and they got ready to rock and roll. Like, okay, we understand the process. Now we're ready to go do more. And along the process, those ladies have bought. I know that Selena's bought another house. Carmela's done some other stuff. They've brokered some notes. They've bought some other performing notes. They've raised some capital from some investors. They've sold some notes to investors. So it's been a very good learning experience for them as well. And that's what we're looking for. We want you guys to take advantage and get rock and roll. I mean, you can't start off at the gates running. You got to kind of figure out, waddle around like a little infant there, figuring out where to go. Then you start crawling. Then you get up and walk faster. And then you're running. Then you're off and running. And that's the beauty of what we love. You don't. It doesn't have to take you a year, 2 years, 3 years. And many of us have been sitting around that time waiting to get in on the race. Don't do that. If you find yourself struggling from over analyst paralysis, get in the game, hit a single, get a bunt single, get a little base hit to get your confidence going. Figure out how to evaluate a collateral file by evaluating it. Look at your servicing notes. You're going to learn so much more by doing it. Now, of course, yes, if you're got money and you're ready to rock and roll it, there's no reason for you not to do a skinny deal, but a deal is still a deal to get the ball rolling. And so that's what I wanted to bring up this morning. Let me share this list with you guys just so you have a bit of an idea where it's at. And what's funny is I know a big chunk of these. We used to own these a few years back, a big chunk of them. And this investor, she bought them from us. They were performing, still performing. We bought them at non-performing notes. Most of these are contract for deeds. There's a few on her that she owns that we didn't own, but they're actually, pretty decent value properties that, some are low balances. So it's a great way for you to get your IRA rocket and rolling, make learn the paperwork side, look the transfer side, and get the ball rocket rolling. Okay, let me share this up in here for you. Share screen. Cool. So what's great about these is that she's already got the collateral file online for you. We all know the values are pretty solid there. I've already looked at the values. Values are all way above what's owed on this. So you're sitting in a very secure first lien position. And the balances start off at what, $3,000, 3,800, and the highest one is 37,000. This one in Milwaukee. Now I know that she would take like 165, 170 for the whole portfolio. And like the one that's got a $3,000 balance, there's two on her small balance of 3,000. She'd probably take $1,000, $2,000 for those. Nothing too much. I probably wouldn't offer. I'd probably stick at the $1,000 to $1,500 range. That gives you the opportunity to double your money at least on this. There's only they mature here in the next year or two. Most of them are all performing. One is a borrower is basically 60 days rolling late, but they've made more than 12 months of payments in the last 12 months. They got behind about 2 years ago for about 90 days, and they've slowly been making up. But that's a-okay. The great thing is, if like you look at this asset here in Topeka, this is one she really is looking to move. Let me just go over. I was looking at this weekend during my class for you. And if you click on the photo, you really do see a lot of pride of ownership. Now, this photo is taken from May of 2024. Now, we did a short little video on this. So if you've looked at our YouTube channel or YouTube Shorts, you probably saw us post a little video about this Topeka assets performing. Now, the great thing about when you're looking at assets is when you see a property like that, what do you look at? Well, people ask me that all the time. What do I look at? Well, I looked first to see if it's occupied. And this is from just 2 months ago, May 2024. This is a pretty current photo, thanks to Google View. So we see this little property. We see a couple cars over the side here. It's occupied, stuff like that. But the thing I love seeing is look at this pride of ownership. You see the flowers here, the rose bushes. You see the flag out here. You see a lot of landscaping. You see a pit, sharing the porch. Grass is cured. You look at the neighborhood. It's pretty similar. It's a pretty nice blue-collar neighborhood. Not huge houses, but very pride of ownership with flags. That's a Kansas flag, the United States flag there. But they've actually painted this house and took really good care of it over the years. I owned it for about 4 or 5 years, and I think Catherine's owned it for about 3 or 4. So the owner wants to stay here. They're making their payments. This is a pretty secure little asset in Topeka. Now, Kansas, foreclosure-wise, has about a year foreclosure process. But I don't really think you're going to end up foreclosing on this. The house is worth about 70. If we go back here to the spreadsheet, the unpaid balance on this is 28. It's a 7.5%. This is actually a 30-year mortgage, which has, about 12 years left on it. Based on the maturity date, it may actually be a little bit longer than 20. Sorry, it's 6 years it says on here, but I think it's actually a little bit longer than that because if they fell behind originally when we bought. But a monthly payment of $463.51, and after $35 in Servicing costs off that, you're gonna be at like 425, 427. So it's a pretty decent little return. You could probably pick that note up at around 16 to somewhere between 16 and $20,000 there. Okay. The next one is this Freeport, Illinois. This is a nice little house. Some pride of ownership, about 20 miles outside. If you don't know where Freeport, Illinois is, outside of Rockford. It's also a nice looking little house. Borrower's got some pride of ownership in it. This photo is taken from September of 2022. Okay. And you see it's a little 2-story house, multi-level thing, big lot, nice little cookie cutter neighborhood, big trees. Once again, the borrower's been on time for a while. This one, if we go back to this is worth about 70, 75K as well. They owe 25 and some change. Monthly payment, they have an interest rate on this of 8.7%. Balance is 31. This is a smaller payment of like 275. So it's really right on that cusp of at the 250 mark of if you're going to be using somebody else's money. Now, I wouldn't be using somebody else's money. I would be using this and plan on holding us. Now, this one has 12 more years left on the mortgage, 12 to 13 plus years. So it could be something that pays off pretty well for you. You could always buy this at a bit of a discount. I would probably say you could probably pick this up for somewhere around that 15 mark. Those two together, you probably pick up for 35 total. And it would probably give you about, this one would probably give you about 8% return, 8.7% return on your money as well. So it's not, hey, knock it out of the park, but a great little deal to get the ball rolling, especially in your IRA. If you use your IRA, technically, if you're using your Roth IRA, it's tax-free. So technically, if you figure in the tax consequences of being at nil, if you're using a Roth IRA, that basically works in your favor to probably more of an annualized 12% return because you're not having to pay taxes on that stuff, okay? Next one is a smaller balance in Renovo, Pennsylvania. This is also a pretty decent looking little property. We're just going to go back and forth through these here real fast for you. Now, what I did is I've already uploaded this to the Basecamp group for you guys that are in the WCN crew, WCN membership. You can take a look at it, ask some questions, and get rock and rolling. But she's looking to move the stuff in the next week or so. And you can see this one in Renovo's a pretty nice looking little property as well. Look at it. Yeah. You see, nice little neighborhood. This is pictures taken from October of last year. So it's about 8 months old. And once again, American flag out. Let's see, 219. That's the next door neighbor. It's got the flag out. So 219. Yeah, there it is. It's this one right here. So it's a nice little property. There you go. Now we go back here to the spreadsheet on this one. They owe $7,000. It's at a 9.9% interest. This is a contract for deed in Pennsylvania. So instead of having to foreclose, guess what? You can evict. So it's a faster aspect of it. Small balance on this one, like I said. It says the origination date was 2021, which I think that it was probably the payment on this is only $250 a month. Maturity date is 2027. So it's got about 3 years left on this. It was okay. Yeah. So this was, I think, either an owner finance deal contract for deed that they took up and gone from there. So that one you could pick up for a couple grand. This one in Greenville, Texas. Okay. This one's also in a pretty good location. If you don't know Greenville, Texas, it's about an hour north of Dallas on the northeast side of the state. I used to drive through Greenville on my way up to Commerce. It's now Texas A&M Commerce. It was East Texas State back in the day. Not the biggest of houses, but it's a nice little greenhouse in Greenville. The greenhouse in Greenville. All right. 3513 there at Cornelia Street. This picture is taken a few years back, obviously. You may want to send out a property inspection report, but you see it's pretty much cookie cutter on this for the neighborhood, not the biggest of houses. If we go back to the spreadsheet, they only owe $8,000. If we look at let me go back here. Go back to just a quick Zillow on this one gives this one a value. It's only like a 900 square foot house. They give you the value. Look at that, about $97,000 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, $9,000 in Greenville. I think that's a little high, but hello, Texas is a fast foreclosure state. If you had to foreclose, you'd get your money back pretty relatively quickly on that one. Like I said, the borrower only owes about $8,000 on that one. You know, if you pick that up for 5, probably would probably be a pretty good deal for you. Going from there. This next one in Graceville, Florida. Yes, we're just going to jump back and forth from these for you guys to take a look at them if you haven't done so. This one in Graceville, Florida. Alabama Street in Graceville, Florida. Look at that. Okay, this picture is taken from July of last year. They got their American flag out there. Proud 4th of July. Looks like the grass needs to be cut. Yeah, 50. Yeah, we go. Put 5298. Neighborhood. Right across a commercial build. Oh, commercial on 2 sides of it, which is okay. This person, let me click on the side here. Yes, he's not bad looking little house down the street there. What's this sign say? Oh, that's a gate there or fence there. So in that one, once again, they only owe a few grand. Graceville, they owe $8,000 on it. The 10% interest rate. They've been paying monthly on this. They've paid through May. They only borrowed $18,000 monthly payment on this one, and the last two, that one previous one in Greenville is 197, and this one's 177. So it's not too big. Their escrow is a little bit higher, but hello, you could probably pick them both up. Oh, I don't know, $8,000 total. Get them up 50 cents on the dollar, and you got a little deal there. Rock on. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This one's probably the most valuable one of the bunch. This one, the borrower owes 37. It's a 10% interest rate. This was a contract for deed. It was originated back in 2012. It matures in, it says 36, so in 12 years, but probably a little bit longer. She was a couple years behind. So I actually think this doesn't mature till 2040, if I remember correct, because she had fallen like 3 or 4 years behind. We bought it and got them back on track, and she's been making payments for a while. Yeah. This is a 2-story house. This house, it's a value about 120 grand. You know, it's pretty secure. I know the homeowner on this wants to stay in the house as best she's. That's it. Look at that. You can see pride of ownership. Got the red door there. This picture, if we go back. This was taken September of 2022. Okay. No, it's not this one, the dead tree. It's literally this corner house. Now, at one point, the lady was running a daycare out of the house. It's got a pretty good sized backyard, and it's got a nice garage. Okay. So that one, I think, is a pretty nice deal for you guys. With that one being at a balance of 37, you could probably pick that one up. Oh, I don't know, somewhere around in the high 20s to 30s. This lady's paying $501 a month, so it's the highest payment. So you'd be netting about $465 a month on a performing. Now these are all currently serviced by Madison Management as well, to keep in mind for you. All right, the next one is in Highland Park, Michigan. There's only a balance of $3,000. Once again, a contract for deed. Let's just pull this up and take a look at what it looks like. Because the balances are so low and the values are so much further above, I'm not really worried about you having a value on this. So this one, 13, set 19. Yeah, once again, look at that. 1974 marks. It's either this one, I can't remember this one. Yeah, it's this one. Which is that nice, that's a nice looking little house, right? I believe that's it, yeah. Yeah, look at the neighborhood. Big trees. This is taken from September of 2022, so it's just over a year. So not a bad looking little house there. We go back to the spreadsheet. This one, she only owes $3,000. You probably pay $1,000 to get this taken down. She may not get rid of it because it's small, but hey, a couple grand or $1,500 might be a nice little deal for you. This one in Lansing, Michigan is also a contract for deed. They owe about just under 21. Interest rates at 8.9%. All right, this one, 313 Douglas Avenue. This picture is from 6 years ago, 2000 or 7 years ago. It's better updated on it. The blue house, but somebody's lived in it, right? Somebody's living in it. Oh, they're painting the house. You can see that. The painting the side of the house there. That's good. Let's see if we can't see some more photos, images of it. Or they're repainting the house. Okay, so yeah, 2015 was like that. So they maybe were painting it and repainting it. I don't know. Maybe they started painting and didn't finish it. I don't know. I'd be willing to bet it's probably that would be worth sending somebody by property inspection report. But the great thing about that, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, low balance. It's definitely worth more than 21. That's what the balance is on the thing. Let's actually do one more thing. Let's go back here. Zillow gives this a value of 100,000. Can you believe that? So plenty on it. And this is a contract for deed. So if they didn't pay, guess what? You'd be able to evict. Okay. All right, let's move on. This one goes to Saginaw. Again, this is a contract for deed at 9.9. They owe 25 on this one. Same thing. We've got a lot of pride of ownership. This is August of last year, so it's just less than a year old. And you see the fence, you see the flag. Beware of the dog, beware of the dog. But you got some pride of ownership. You got the wind chimes there. Yeah, they've got a little bit of stuff there, but that's okay. They got some stuff. They want to live there. The neighborhood, look at that. Big lots across the street. It's a nice little neighborhood, right? Let's go back here. And this one in Saginaw, it gives the value. It's probably a 3-1, somewhere around 50. I'd say 50 would be conservative on this thing based on recent sales. And Saginaw, they owe 25. So you can pick this up at 50 cents on the dollar. Once again, 9.9%. They started it in 2013. Their maturity date is 2043. 245 a month, so you net 210 a month. You could probably make, I don't know, it's about a 9% return, probably 10% return or more. Okay. Pick that up for 12 to 15, I guess. I'm not sure. This one in Mansfield, Ohio is a nice look, if I remember correctly. They owe 26, 10% interest rate. Yeah. It's a nice looking little house in Mansfield, Ohio. Look at that. Quiet neighborhood. This picture's from June of 2012. So it's a little older, but they're still paying. Clean little house. If we go back here, Zillow gives this a value of about 125. Yeah, they owe 27 on this one, 10% interest rate. Maturity is 2040, so you'd have a good 16 years on this one. They're paying $300 a month, so you'd net 265. So that could be a pretty good little asset for you as well for under 25,000. This next one is in Cleveland, Ohio. It was an owner finance note that they bought, and I don't remember if we got a good photo of this one because it was somebody they owner financed the property. Yeah, here you go. This was previously listed. So basically, somebody bought it. I don't know if the picture will show up. Okay, this is an older photo. Yeah, and so let's see if we click on here. Yeah, it's hard to tell the trees, but this is from September 2022. They've painted the house blue. You can tell blue trim or white with blue trim. Let's go on this side so we can't see over here. There you go. Yeah. Somebody rehabbed it, sold it on owner financing to somebody, and they've, this is about 2 years ago. If we go back here, let's see what they say the value is of this thing is. Zillow gives it a rough value of, they didn't know. All right, is there any sales? So 50,000 at least. Let's say this one sold 10 months ago. This is in Cleveland. It's kind of surprising they don't have better comps with it being in Cleveland, but it is what it is. So still 50. Low value side on that. They owe, see, that's the thing. They only owe $3,800. Okay. They're making a payment of $425. This is supposed to mature at the end of the year. So you got 6 months on that. I think a little bit more if they have a loan balance is 3,800. Okay. So, but that could be a very short-term in and out deal for you. If they're making payments, okay. Making payments. Most recent payment when they pulled this stuff was next payment due is June. So they've made this payment. So you got 6 months, 6 times 400. Hey, that's $2,400. You know, that could be a pretty good deal for 3,811 loan balance. Okay. Last one's in Warren, Ohio. 262 Washington Avenue. Let's go over there. This one, it's a 3,000 square foot single family home. It's 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Okay, this is a good size home. Yeah, look at that. This is from August of 2019. All big homes in the neighborhood. Look at that. Aren't those old homes just cool? I mean, it's just a historic home, right? Look at the next door neighbor over here. Look at this. This looks like something out of like Bridgerton. The big wraparound porch. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We don't have that here in Texas a lot of times because it's an older home. But you got that garage in the back. If we go back here, let's look, let's see what this one is worth. This one's going to be sizably worth a whole lot more. So, oh, we have a current photo. No, that's probably from when it was sold originally back in the day. All right. Zillow says don't have enough information. Well, but you can see similar homes sold for anywhere from 95 to 142. About the same. 4-bedroom, 3-bath. This is a 4.3, 3,000 square feet. 4.3, 2,090. So 142. So you'd say pretty comfortably on the comps. They only owe 27.8 and change. Okay. And then this matures in 2043. So you've got 19 years on this one. The interest rate's at 10%. Ohio, you evict. This is only $263 a month. So $228. Okay. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, $27,000 loan balance is worth $95 on a conservative basis that you're walking into equity. If they don't pay, you evict because this is a contract for deed, if I remember correctly. But anyway, that's what I wanted to go with it. You could, if you're interested in this, please email me at talkwithscottcarson.com. I'm glad to direct you over to the seller. I'm not making any commission on this. There's no markup on my side. Just trying to help a coaching student move some assets. They're just trying to cash out, get in a little bit of capital back in to go invest in some other stuff. So feel free to reach out to me in this. But these are, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 little notes. You can pick up the whole portfolio for about $165. So not a bad day. Obviously, some are better than others. But on some of those lower terms, guess what? You can put your IRA to work and be rocking and rolling. All right. But yeah, I just wanted to open that up for you guys to talk about, to share with you guys about that. If you're interested, hey Nishant, hey Joe, hey Phil. Do you guys have any questions? Phil, did you want to ask me your questions about how to evaluate those deals based on what the pricing came back at on those, or we will do that later on for you? Hey Joe, good morning, buddy. We'll talk to you later today, right? I will tell you this, Phil. I know that you got some later. Okay, no problem. We'll talk about it later. So, any other questions, comments, concerns, guys? Look, if you got some little bit of money, it might be worth putting in there for you. Get the ball rolling, get you out of your comfort zones, get the feel for it. Just want you guys to get rock and rolling. And like I said, hey, you don't have to be a WC Inc. member to take down those assets. If you're watching this or listening to it, we're here to help you. All right. I do want to kind of close quickly. Would like before the end of the month, but probably before the 4th of July. So anyway, guys, hope you go out, have a great day. That's going to wrap it up for the day unless there's any other questions. And we'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day, everybody.